What is up, guys? Zatkin here, and in today's video, I'm going to give you my ultimate dispositions guide for selling your wholesaling real estate deals to cash buyers. I'm going to share with you exactly in this video, step by step, the entire dispositions process, especially this year in 2023, and exactly everything you need to know about selling your deal and really updating everything so you know exactly the dispositions, cash buyers process, what questions to ask, how to find them, everything. I'm going to break it down all today. This is going to be a huge video where we're going to break down everything. So, but the biggest question I get so many people is like, Zach, how do I find cash buyers? How do I sell my deal? And really in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to sell your deals in under 24 hours. Again, this little video, I could probably put it in a course, sell it for 2, 3, 4, 5 grand. And everyone would say, wow, that was worth the money. But hey, you know me, I give everything out absolutely for free because this is what you guys deserve and what you guys need. So let's cut the fluff. Let's get right into it. We got a lot of info to go over today. Let's break this all down. Let's really share everything you need to know about selling your wholesaling deals, dispositions, and breaking it all down. Remember, guys, everything I do say is in freewholesaling.com. That is my free real estate wholesaling course, and you'll see that on the bottom right-hand corner for this. So just FYI, right here, freewholesaling.com. So again, I'm going to get in the nitty-gritties today. But again, there's even more onions to unveil about how to cold call cash buyers, things like that, which we're going to break down as much as we can today. But remember, again, everything on top of that is at freewholesaling.com. Contracts, dispositions, everything. So the one thing I want to do before I get into it is I'm going to talk about the assignment of contract when it comes to cash buyers and for dispositions. Just know if you want to download that contract, there's a link in the contracts module at freewholesaling.com, and that's actually how you get into it and actually go see it. So without further ado, let's break this all down. Let's really get into it and really share exactly how to sell your deal in under 24 hours. Look at that handsome fella. He's ready to show you how to wholesale real estate. So the first question you might be asking yourself is like, who's the Zach In guy? Why is he qualified to ask me or tell me why I should start getting into wholesaling real estate? And the honest truth is, quick bio, I've done over 1,000 real estate wholesaling deals over the last 6 years. I'm 23 years old right now. Started at 17 years old, and really I've sold over 1,000 wholesaling deals, and I'm one of the top JV partners in the entire country for wholesaling real estate. And I make a lot of money, so I share exactly how to make a lot of money. And because I make a ton of money in wholesaling, I don't have to charge you for this information. I just want to help the community out because there's literally nobody besides Rick and me that give this type of information at this type of quality and quantity out for wholesaling. Nobody breaks down a whole dispositions guide for hours on how to do it for free. There's always an ulterior motive. No course, no mentorship, none of this stuff. I give it out absolutely for free. So let's break this all down. Let's get it going. So let's kind of talk about, before we get into dispositions, let's just do a quick overview really quick of the wholesaling process, right? So the wholesaling process, everybody knows really, it's about marketing, locking up the deal, finding the buyer, walking it through, and closing day. So really, we're not talking about marketing or locking up the wholesaling deal today because that's really part of marketing and acquisitions. We're really focusing on the latter half here, the stuff in the gray, right? Find the cash buyer, walking through the cash buyer, right? Making sure you do the walk the right way, and then closing day. This is very important, guys, that we break down exactly those processes because I think so many wholesalers, they really get confused on it, and we're going to break it all down. So let's talk about first and foremost, the cash buyer tiers list, right? So when we're talking about cash buyers, people that are buying or wholesaling real estate deals, right? There is a tier system to them. And I want everybody to understand this. So remember, guys, what is a cash buyer? A cash buyer is somebody that is willing to buy our real estate wholesaling deals and actually buying them are basically our contracts. So remember, we lock up the deal and then we sell that to an end buyer, that rich landlord house flipper, to buy our agreement, our contract, for a profit, guys. Okay. And so basically these cash buyers, people buying our contracts from us, right? Who are they, right? Really what I could tell you is most of them are on a tier list, right? So a lot of them, the people that pay the least are usually who we call the slum lords. These are people that buy 50 plus houses a year. A lot of them like renting them out, Section 8. They want to buy them cheap. I'm telling you guys right now, in wholesaling real estate, there's a lot of these people out here that want the best deals. They want you to put on a contract for 50 cents on the dollar and then want everything for the cheapest possible price. Now, this is not going to be every single type of cash buyer out there, but a lot of cash buyers are going to be like this. So just FYI. Now, we got the next part here, which is who we call the high-level flippers. And who are high-level flippers? High-level flippers are people that are doing over 20 flips a year. They're pretty good, right? One thing I can tell you straight up, though, with high-level flippers, quote unquote, is they want a little more than the slumlords, but they want good discount. We got that next to the medium level flipper, right? These are people buying 5 to 10 deals a year. They pay on average. And then the people that pay a little above average for our wholesaling deals, these are who we call the mom and pop flippers, just the regular Joe schmoes. They're kind of doing it on themselves. They're trying to learn the business a little more. And then my favorite are who we call the fresh out of the seminar flippers. They pay the most for our deals. These are people that are first time, a little more difficult. It's more of an advanced thing, but they will pay close to retail for these. And we're going to share exactly how to find these type of flippers out here. And then on top of that, we have the landlord type wholesalers. wholesalers. So just so everybody knows, cash buyers either usually want to buy it to flip it or they want to buy it to rent it out. Same tier system with landlord buyers, right? There's going to be a lot less of them, but there's still a good amount. Slumlord landlords, the high level landlords that buy 20 properties a year. If you buy 5 to 10 a year or 1 to 4, usually less of a cash buyer for rentals. And usually the way it goes is the less properties you buy per year, usually the more you're willing to pay for it. And that's just how savvy and experienced you are. That's really how this works, right? Now, next here, we want to talk about how to find cash buyers, right? This is a pretty simple process. I think a lot of wholesalers really like confusing this and making it crazy, but really finding cash buyers, there's so many ways. I could tell you straight up, there's probably 12, 13, 14 ways to find cash buyers. There's 4 main ones that I want to break down, but the ones in the asterisk right here are free. And really, how do you find cash buyers? You can find them being landlording on Craigslist, putting the 4 rents. Facebook groups, guys, I absolutely love Facebook groups for actually finding these deals. A lot of wholesalers don't usually deal with Facebook groups like this, but I absolutely love Facebook group. I'll show you exactly today actually how to do it. There's a couple of ways I'll actually show you how to do it, but trust me, guys, it's actually really, it's not as complicated as it seems. So number 3 here is going to be Facebook Marketplace. People that are putting their properties for rent, find a lot of cash buyers for that. Cold calling the cash sales is an amazing one. I think a lot of wholesalers out here, they get really confused on exactly what cash sales are. Really, cash sales is basically when you are finding people that are actually putting properties under contract and buying them for cash, right? And so they can either go with a realtor and they could actually live in the house, they can flip it and do it basically as a landlord, right? But really, it's a list you can get on like listai.com of people that are just buying properties for cash and just doing that. Like, we don't know what they're doing with it, but they're just buying it for cash, no loans on it. Now, I would say about 50% of those people are going to be who we'd call even close to a quote unquote cash buyer. But really, you got to go through that entire list. Basically, every cash buyer is on the cash sale list because if you bought a property for cash, you're going to be on that list. It's a tried and true way to find them. And you can have VAs do it, right? Next year is your local real estate investing associations. That's a great way to find cash buyers, but that is your local RIA. And those are basically a group of real estate investors. There's cash buyers there, a lot of networking to do. A lot of them try to sell you on these crazy expensive courses. I would not probably do it, but hey, to each their own. Last year, we got the realtors. Realtors are actually good cash buyers. I actually did a live the other day on cold calling people that are representing cash buyers. So there's a lot of realtors that represent cash buyers. It's a little more difficult, to break down, but what I could tell you is when it comes to realtors, most of them don't want to deal with wholesalers and they're not good wholesaling real estate people to be dealing with. But for you to understand that if you can cold call the cash sales and see who the realtor is representing it, you go to realtor.com or Zillow to see who's the representative of it. It's a great way to find cash buyers. Next here are cash sales you can actually get from your local government. So you can actually go on public records and find properties that sold without any mortgages. It's a little more difficult to do, but you can do that. Listra.com has something that we call the flippers tab, where it finds people that bought properties for cash and then threw it on the market or sold it for at least, I think, 25 or 30% more than what they bought it for within a 6-month period, which usually means 9 times out of 10, they flip the property. It's a really good list to be doing. ZacData.com has that too. And then hedge fund buyers are good too. There's some good hedge funds like SFR3, where you're seeing them on the cash sales. It's like they own thousands of properties, big hedge fund. If you go to like PropStream, you can actually go on there or ZacData.com and see how many properties somebody owns and go by like over, I think 500. You'll probably find hedge funds pretty easy there. Again, for Wholesaling.com, we break that down. And then other wholesalers can actually JV with people. So if I can't find a deal, I can actually go to another wholesaler and ask them, hey, do you have a cash buyer? We can JV, split it 50-50. It works really well. You could do Facebook, Instagram ads. Not a big fan of it. I would probably go away from it, but I do want to tell you it is an option for you out here. And then brand new real estate agent. I can tell you guys straight up, new real estate agents are an interesting bunch because they're not corrupted with the wholesaling real estate, anti agenda. A lot of realtors have. They're a lot more open. They don't make a lot of money, right? And I think that's going to be something you can use for your advantage, right? So let me know if you guys have a question on any of those. But really, I know I'm going a little fast on this part, but really what I want to break down is exactly how they work for you, so you know how to do it the right way. Now, really, if you want to break down the big 4, the main ones where you're going to find most of your cash buyers, I'd probably go out here and stick to Facebook groups. I would stick to cold calling cash sales. I would deal with auctions. That is another one we didn't really list on here because it's kind of on it's on a weird one. And what do I mean by that? If you're going to want to try to find auctions, it's not a regular one to do, right? And so the next one where we're going to talk about is auction, right? And so you got Facebook groups, auctions, cold calling cash sales, and then the 4 rents, which are basically going to be kind of those landlord type buyers. And that is another really good way to do it. So how do you actually find those type of buyers? So one thing I can tell you right now is the big 4 you're going to focus on. So if we're going to do cash sales, we go to listra.com to do it. Now, number 2, we're going to talk about the auction. Now, auctions are amazing. I actually think you should be going after the auctions for cash buyers, but there's really two ways to find auctions. Number one, you go to your local auctions for your own county. And these are like tax lien auctions or tax sale auctions. And really how that works is when the county is auctioning off properties, you can actually go out here and go to that auction. There's going to be 20 or 30 cash buyers there willing to bid on the properties. Sometimes they're virtually, sometimes they're in person. I'd rather you go to the in-person ones, obviously, and see people actually bidding on buying these type of properties. I absolutely love it. Now, I can tell you straight up in wholesaling real estate that it's a little more rare to find those type, but they work really, really well. Now, you can go on auctions with private companies on here, and these are going to be private corporations that are auctioning off properties. Usually someone's just wanting an auction off. They're like, not Sotheby's, but like they're kind of weird private auctioneer companies. And so if you go on Google and just search auctions real estate locally and do it by private corporations, you're probably going to get the best results from that. Now, the next one here is going to be basically the for rents. And basically you just go to Zillow and you just go by the for rent section, and you're going to find a lot of people renting out properties. You can find realtors that have that too that represent it, but really just go by the for rents on Zillow. I call them the for rents by owner, and that's a really good way to do it too. And then obviously the last one is cash sales. Now, we didn't have all of them listed on here, but they work really, really well, guys and gals. So let's go to the next slide here. Where are we? All right, here we go. Let's kind of talk about the cash buyer list building rules, okay? We want quality over quantity. Let me say that one last time. We want quality over quantity. It is better to have 5 amazing qualified cash buyers than 3,000 terrible bad cash buyers. This is very important for everyone to understand. It's better to have really good cash buyers than really bad cash buyers. 5 good cash buyers better than 3,000 bad. Okay. Now let's talk about another hack I always talk about, but this is basically our free cash buyer hack. This is going to be a hack for us to go into these Facebook groups and actually find cash buyers wanting to buy property. We're going to go in the big wholesaling cash buyer groups and actually find them. And so there's 2 ways to do it. Number one, we can use this ad copy, which is at freewholesaling.com, where we can post this in real estate investing group. What does this ad copy say? It says houses at a deep discount. If you are in the Port St. Lucie market and you're looking to buy off-market properties for 30 to 40% off-market value and make a big profits on your next rental or flip, then private message me. Next here, just ask them, hey, the little dash right there. Drop your email and message below, and I'll send you some of these deals. This is a great ad copy to do. You can copy it literally. The ad copy is at freewholesaling.com. You'll probably have 4 or 5 cash buyers actually drop in their email. You get their email, you DM them. It works really important, guys. I think so many wholesalers get that confused, but really it's very important. Next step here is you can actually, I don't have I got a screen share on it. The next part here is you can actually harvest people that actually posted that. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm just going to go to Facebook and let's pop it up. So we are currently on Facebook right here. And what I'm basically going to do is I just searched Cincinnati real estate investors. And basically you see me search here. I'm just going to click Greater Cincinnati Real Estate Investors Group. And then people are just posting their deals. All I'm going to go is on the search tab and just search cash buyers. Literally, all I'm doing is searching cash buyers. I'm going to click view post. And then I'm going to see people that have already posted like 22 hours ago, right? I need cash buyers in Covington, Kentucky area. Click comment, and people are just dropping their emails like crazy, right? So like boom, email, right? These are all cash buyers. So what I can do like with William right here, I just click message, boom, and then just message him. Hey, William, this is Zach. Are you still a cash buyer in the blank area? Boom. I just go message all these people that are commenting, and I can do it from a year ago, a month ago. If you do at least 20 or 25 of these every single day, you will find cash buyers really easy and simple. It's really not as complicated as most wholesalers make it seem. And I think if you really get things confused, I think if you really go out here and complicate it, you're not going to get the best results. But really, if you go there, you DM the people, you get their email, that'll be the best success and the best way for you to actually go out here and find these type of cash buyers. Now, next part, we talked about cash sales, right? I'll go to listerarea.com. ZachData.com is another good secondary on it too. But like really what you do on these is you just pull all cash sales in the zip code hot market. You pull this, skip tracer or text or cold call, and you just cold call the people in the cash sales, and you basically say, hey, I saw you purchase 123 Main Street all cash. Are you still looking to buy any more houses at a deep discount in the area? Pretty simple, pretty easy, but it works really well. You can use realtors, right? Now there's 2 ways to do it. You go like a realestateagentlist.com. I think it's free. You might have to pay for it. That's just, I'm not affiliated with them at all. So actually see, if you want to go crazy, you can actually get a list of all realtors in the area, but still I'd probably just go to freewholesaling.com and learn exactly how to find realtors that are cash sales and go from there. Now you can pull all the areas in your city for a fee and just cold call them. They have emails and phone numbers. I thought it was pretty cool, but really all you really got to do is just go to like cash sales and then see the realtors that represent them on the MLS, and you'll have the best success. Explain who you are, and then you can find cash buyers and transactions. Now, let me show you something really quick here. If you go to the Flip with Rick YouTube channel, it's actually kind of cool. But like I did a live the other day, and I'll show you here, and let's go share my screen of this entire process. Now, we are actively trying trying to put that in freewholesaling.com right now. But like you see right here, literally all I did was I just cold call cash sale. So you see me out here cold calling realtors and talking to them. I found hedge funds. It was pretty cool. I had live conversations. It worked really well. I was going LLCs. I was even going in there, but really all I was basically doing was cold calling cash sale. And I found a lot of really good leads, and it was really cool. So exactly freewholesaling.com by tomorrow, the other day, that should be put in there. But if you want, you can just go from there. So let me put the link in the chat for everybody, and you can go in here. So let's go to the link in the chat. So, all right, put the link in there for y'all to go in there. Now, the next part is the assignment of contract. And really, this is what we call the assignment of contract. You go to freewholesaling.com, you can download it for free. Once we qualify, find our cash buyer, this is going to be the piece of paper that we use. Now, remember, the point of cash buyers is for us to use it so we can sell it, right? We want to sell that contract for a profit. Now, we want to put the property under contract. This is our assignment of contract. And basically what it is, it's just basically us agreeing to sell the contract to buy the property for a fee. And you see here, there's purchase price, there's the assignment fee. So how that works for you guys to understand is if I agree to put a property under contract for $100,000, all I basically got to do is, let's say I'm selling it for $120,000, I put a $20,000 assignment fee, then boom, the cash buyer owes $120K at closing, $20K that goes to me in a nice check form, and then basically $100K goes to the seller. That's how it works. Just go to freewholesaling.com. That's how you actually download it for free. It works really well. Now, once you go and have the assignment of contract done from there, we're going to do the walkthrough, and then we're going to have a dead time, right? So really what you got to know here about the walkthrough is basically that is the process of us when we find the cash buyer, we qualify them, go through all the questions. I'll break that down a little later here, but we're really going to break down the walkthrough with the cash buyer. And really what that is either if we're doing virtual or in person, we're actually going to walk through the property with seller. So basically how the process works is if we go all the way to the beginning here, show you here. This is the walkthrough, right? So we found the buyer. So we find the end buyer, rich landlord, house flipper that agrees to buy it for a profit. What we're going to do next is we're going to walk the buyer through the house to see if they want to actually sign it, right? Basically selling the paper on it. What you got to understand about this process is we just call the buyer and say, hey, are you looking to buy this property? And they're like, you know what? Yeah, that works. I think I can do 120, like you said, Zach. Okay, well, what's a good time we can walk through and see the prop? Pretty much how it works. Now, if you're doing virtual wholesaling, you're doing boots on the ground like this for the dispositions, what I would do here is just call somebody like a runner to actually go and show the property for you. Now, how do you do that, right? We kind of talked about in the virtual wholesaling like overview process, but really you could hire someone $40-50 to actually be kind of an escort for the cash buyer and actually walk them through. Or you have the cash buyer do it themselves. They can actually just walk up there and, walk through, look at the property themselves. You just got to make sure that they don't talk to the cash buyer. That's a very important rule, that the cash buyer can't talk with the seller because that could potentially ruin the deal. But you got to vet your cash buyers really well and ask them the right questions. That's how you do the walkthrough the right way here. So let's go back here. Now, once they walk through, you go meet them or you send them over literally the contract, the assignment of contract, and then they sign it. Then from there, we have a dead time, right? So let's say we put the property contract on the 1st, and now we sign this assignment on the 16th, and now we are on the 30th. So it's like, SpaghettiOs, what do we do, right? Basically, it's a dead time, right? This is the time where a lot of wholesalers sometimes lose their deal. So what do you do in between the time you sign the assignment of contract and you actually get it on closing day? That's what we call the dead time. So what you want to do is call the cash buyer once a week to make sure they're all good. They should have the non-refundable deposit, so it's really not going to affect us too much. Number 2 is we're going to call the seller 2 to 3 times a week, every single week, actually just keep updating them. We're going to have our title company call the seller 2 to 3 times a week also, because I always tell my title company, keep calling the seller once, twice a week to make sure they're on board. If you ignore the seller in between closing date when you sign the contract, sometimes the seller just feels like you're not legit and they just don't want to close. And it's weird to say it, but it happens a decent amount of times when you don't follow up. This is why follow-up is so important for your wholesaling success. Confirm the title is clear and there's no issues and you should be fine there. Now, when you're talking to cash buyers, right, you need to ask them these specific questions. These are very important questions you have to ask your cash buyers, but these are basically questions like, hey, are you looking to buy more houses for flipping or renting? And so if you're cold calling cash sales, you got someone that says they're a cash buyer, literally anyone on Facebook, you just got to ask them these questions, right? Are you looking to buy more houses? Are you a cash buyer? Have you ever bought from wholesalers before? And are you okay with me making an assignment fee? It's very, 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 very important you ask your cash buyers this. Hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, are you okay if I made $50,000 in this assignment fee for this deal? Ask them that. I promise you, if you don't ask them that, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because if they see you're making $50K and they get upset, they might not want to close on the deal. Now, those are really greedy cash buyers, but some people work a little weirdly and differently. So just make sure that you're making an assignment fee and you actually explain the cash buyer you're making an assignment fee. Lastly, you get a proof of funds from them and you ask them how quick they can close. What is a proof of funds? Basically, is a letter from a bank account showing that they have money in their pocket, like they got money in their bank account. And what does this basically mean? This basically means if you actually have the money in your bank account. So if you're talking to a big game game you're a cash buyer and you don't have 120 grand in your own bank account, that better be the right thing. Now, I can tell you straight up, guys, there's a lot of fake wholesaling cash buyers out here. Okay. So I want people to understand there's a lot of type of cash buyer. There are cash buyers, there's hard money buyers, and there's fake buyers, right? We don't like any of these, right? Like we don't like the hard money or the fake buyers. We want real cash buyers. There's a lot of cash buyers, quote unquote, that are learning from a guru. And basically what this guru is doing is this guru is like, okay, pretend like you're a cash buyer and JV with these wholesalers. They're literally telling them to fake. So what do? Hey, can I get a proof of funds from you? Guess what the guru taught fake cash buyer is going to do? Okay, here's my proof of funds. It's going to say either two things. This is Mr. John Guru LLC has given $500,000 of a line of credit to buy any piece of real estate. That is a hard money buyer. They don't have the money in their bank account. So if you're talking to Jack Smith and he gives you a proof of funds from Johnny, Waterby, it's like, you're Jack Smith. You're not Johnny Waterby. Oh, but Johnny Waterby is my partner on the... No. Okay. You need to have a corporation with cash to show, and your name better be on that company because it's your guru and you're trying to do a fake JV deal with me. That's another fake buyers thing. I want everyone to understand this. This is very important. A lot of gurus are giving proof of funds in their own bank account. So let's say John Waterby is the guru. No, my name's Zach Kinn and I'm a cash buyer. Show me proof of funds. Here it is. John Waterby, $1 million in his bank account. I'm like, you're not John Waterby, or you're not 123 Quick Buyers LLC. I saw John Waterby's the owner. It doesn't matter. The money's in the bank account. I'm like, no, that's not you. That's not your money. That's not your... I can literally do Bill Gates's bank account and say, that's my proof of funds. It ain't my... Okay. It's borderline fraudulent at that point. If your name or if your company with your name has to be on the corporation, which the gurus don't want you put on there. It's very important, but there's a lot of fake buyers out here. There's a lot of guys saying, I got the cash in close, and you get screwed out of the deal because you're using a fake buyer. Don't get caught up with the fake buyers. They're terrible. Drives me crazy. I see it all the stinking dang time. This is how you actually fail in this business. So they have to have a proof of funds. They have to be okay with you making a big assignment fee on the closing, and they have to have bought in real estate before. And it's a big plus if they've bought from other wholesalers. But really, another big question you can ask here, which I love asking too, is just asking the cash buyer, how many properties have you bought in this year? Straight up. Ask them, hey, tell me the last 4 properties you've bought for cash. Give me the addresses. And you can look them up and see if they actually bought it with their own name or not. So one big thing I found with fake cash buyers, which my big pet peeve are these fake cash buyers, literally ask these fake cash buyers, give me the HUD for the last 5 properties you've bought for cash, or just give me the addresses. You look it up and you see that John Waterby LLC, and it's not Jack Smith. It's like, you are not John Waterby. You're giving a fake proof of fund. You literally, all you can do is just look up the property on the property appraiser, look up the deed, and you can actually see who signed it. When I give proof of funds to JV guys that want to JV with me, and they want to see if I actually can buy properties for cash in my local market, I send them 5 last HUDs, and guess what it is? Guess whose name is signed on the deed? Zachary Ginn. Literally, Zachary Ginn. I sign all my deeds. I don't have any other people in my corporation that do it. I mean, Rick might do it sometimes, but like, it's Rick Ginn or Zach Ginn that are signing the deeds. I sign every deed for every property I buy. I don't have anybody. I don't have a secretary do it. No, because I'm buying real estate, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm going to sign it myself. Okay. And it just shows proof to people in my own market that I'm buying these properties for cash. And so it's very important you guys to actually look that up. I think a lot of wholesalers don't do that. And that's how you can separate the fake buyers from the legit real buyers will actually show you that. And they're not scared to do it. People get offended by asking how much money is in your bank account for proof of funds. They're not a good cash buyer. Now, speaking with realtors, again, you ask them, have you bought from wholesalers before? And you're okay with me making an assignment fee. Those are the two biggest things a lot of cash buyers get really freaked out over. But really, guys, when it comes to selling your wholesaling process, it can get complicated, but it can also get very simple. We go back here to the wholesaling process. We're doing the gray, right? We're finding that buyer. So let's kind of do the macro view again, one more time, the macro view of wholesaling real estate. Okay? Finding stressed properties. We're locking up the deal, going with the title company, find the cash buyer, cold call the cash sales, Craigslist, realtors, auctions, for rents. Really, it's really Facebook groups, just finding people that want to buy properties for cash. You ask them their questions, you qualify them, the questions we ask in the slides here. And then from there, we walk them through the property. They like it. They sign the assignment of contract. Then they close on basically on the title, basically on the date that the title company sets for them, and you're good to go, right? That's basically it. I think a lot of wholesalers think this process gets a lot crazier or complicated. It's really not. And the last part is, again, I've said this a million times and I'll say this a million times over. If your cash buyer asks if they can use their own title company, say no, you have to use your own title company. The reason is because we kind of broke down title companies in other modules of Wholesaling.com. I talk about this a lot, but when it comes to title companies, y'all need to understand that if you use a cash buyer's preferred title company, that title company might not be comfortable with wholesaling, but they might tell the seller that they're wholesaling it and maybe you just want to use someone else. Legit, I've had title companies actually say that seller, and I've heard stories and I've seen it locally in my own market. and everywhere around the country. It's literally bananas insane. Like it drives me insane when people do that. But what I can tell you is all you have to do is just tell the cash buyer, these are my rules. You have to use my title company. You can't talk to the seller if we're doing a walkthrough. You have to be okay with me making a big assignment fee on my deals. You have to use my title company, and you really have to follow my rules on the wholesaling process. That's basically it. Like really, and you have to show a proof of funds and buy it for cash. Pretty easy and simple, right? That's basically it. Really what you do is you have a non-refundable deposit on that too, which is pretty fun. And it's not technically a non-refundable deposit. It's kind of worded a little way in the legal definition, but like it earns money to a point too. But really the reason is because I make them put a lot of non-refundable stuff on here because they do it wrong. I keep their money and it's good to go. So it's a win-win if a cash buyer tries to screw you. This is why you have to use the assignment of contracts that we have at freewholesaling.com, because if the cash buyer tries to screw you, you get $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and you get a new cash buyer. It works really well. So let's say last time a cash buyer tried to screw me, I kept $5,000. I gave $1,000 extra to the seller to extend the closing for another month. And then from there, I made $4,000 by a cash buyer trying to screw me. 99% of the time when a cash buyer tries to screw you out of the deal and you hop on the lives and you complain to me, it's because you didn't use my assignment of contract. It is virtually impossible for a cash buyer to try to screw you out of a deal when you use my assignment of contracts. Why I tell you to do it. It's almost impossible for a cash buyer to screw you out of a deal after you ask them all the qualifying questions I said in this video. The underlying reason is if you get screwed by a cash buyer, it's straight up because you did not ask the right questions and you didn't use my assignment of contract and you didn't use your own title company. So if you follow the steps in this video, it's going to help you out the best. Now, the last question we have to talk about is, what if I can't find a cash buyer? What if the biggest question and probably one of the most, said question I get in wholesaling real estate is like, Zach, what if I can't find a cash buyer? There are two reasons why, straight up. Okay. And it's a big pet peeve of mine. Okay. It drives me crazy, but there's two reasons why you can't find a cash buyer. I get it all the time. I can't find a cash buyer. Then the last thing about dispositions, and this is something I always talk about, but this is going to be more of an advanced method. But I think if I'm doing an ultimate guide for dispositions to cash buyers, I want to break this down. But like the next question here is, Zach, I have zero comp. I have no comps at all. I don't know how much this property is worth. I don't know how much this deal is worth. What do I do? Really what you need to do here is, if you have zero comps, no comps at all, zilch comp, what you have to do here is you can actually go to your cash buyer, make sure it's someone you trust really well, but ask your cash buyer, hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, I have a property. I'm going to the appointment. I have no idea how much this property is worth. I can't figure it out at all. It's really unique. It's weird. You're the first person I'm talking to, and I want you to get first right of refusal on this deal. But here's the property. I can give you pictures of it tomorrow when I go see the property. But can you give me a range of what you buy this thing for, just so I know where I'm at? I don't want to waste your time, and I just want to see if this is the right thing or not, and just go from there. And he'll say, you know what, Zach, I could probably buy this for around 150. Perfect. Now you have a certain range. Because what did I say before? What is a contract worth? It's worth what someone is willing to buy it for. That's how you do it, guys. So really, that is my whole dispositions guide for wholesaling real estate. I think in wholesaling, a lot of people get this whole process confused. Contracts, JV, cash buyers. And what I could tell you is the best way you're going to learn dispositions is by just selling deals. Like once you sell your first and second, even your third deal, this process gets so much easier. I promise you, this process gets so much easier. Once you do 1 to 2 deals, this process gets so simple. It's like, this video game's so confusing, or this playing chess used to be super confusing to me. And then I learned how to play it, and it's not confusing anymore. It's fun, right? It's like a lot of things. It seems confusing from the outside. And then once you do it 1 or 2 times, it's actually simple. It's a piece of cake. And it all, guys, stems back to the wholesaling process, finding the cash buyer, walking through the house, and closing the deal. 3 steps. That is it. Kind of condensed in this little video.